Hey guys, and welcome back to the vlog. Well, today I'm going to change the beast. I'm going to change what the beast says when she says, I was just arrested. So every time she says, from this point on, that I was just arrested and then I was raped when I was 9 and all this other. No. When she says the word arrest, it's going to have a whole new meaning. Because I did my research and I now know every single thing that happened. Prior to the arrest, during the abduction, and subsequent torture. I know it all. So every time the beast says, I was just arrested, when somebody views this vlog, they're going to understand why. And before I go any further, I would just ask you guys if you could just push that subscribe button, because when you do, and we all know she's watching this. She's watching it. She's quiet. She hasn't said a peep out of about any of these vlogs, not a peep. So maybe it's because my subscription numbers are low and she thinks this is just going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's not. So if you guys could push the subscribe button and ring the bell, whatever that does, and whatever else there is to make it a good video, make more. I want to get more subscribers, more people, viewers, because that puts the word out. She will no longer, after this video, be able to say arrest. Because when she does, it's going to mean what I said happened. Okay. The FBI that arrested her was FBI Special Agent Paul Miller of the Miami office of the FBI. So I'm going to give you a little background before the arrest. This is what transpired before the arrest. She was a prostitute, $150 prostitute, or cocaine, or whatever you want to call her. She started, and most of her clients, her favorite clients, were drug dealers because she would get money and cocaine. So this one guy, Daniel Staub, who I know well, who stayed with me in my home for 2 weeks in 2010. I deposed him in my civil lawsuit, so I know Danny. I know him. Okay, prior to Saturday, June 21st, 1986, prior to that date, which was that was the date that they abducted Carmine Santinella. Prior to that, Daniel Staub was doing her hustling. And she had this guy, Danny Aguilar, who wasn't the greatest looking guy. He was an enforcer for the Medellin drug cartel, the real deal. This guy would go after people who owed drug debts to the cartel, and he would either kill them, break their legs, or blow their cars up, or their boats. He would literally blow them up. That was his favorite method. He just wanted to blow people up. And that's why they found 7 homemade bombs in his house at the time of the arrest and rescue of Carmine Santinella. So just prior to Saturday, June 21st, 1986, Danielle swindled him out of dope, swindled him, stole money from him, and the exact amount was $90,000. And now he was at the point where he was going to kill her. He was just going to kill her. He was so mad that before he snapped out of it, he was 90,000 in the hole. He was 90 grand in the hole. And she was starting to fear him. She was starting to get the message that, hey, this guy's losing his temper now. My charm and my little sexual favors aren't working anymore. This was the end of the line. So she told him, listen, let me sell some coke and I can get that $90,000 debt swindle, whatever it was that she did. He wouldn't tell me. He was embarrassed. She probably took his money, took his coke, and he found out, and he was in love with her or in lust with her, whatever the case may be. So he agrees on Friday, June 2nd, June 20th, 1986, to give her 2 kilos of cocaine to Carmine Santinello, who lived right next door to her in the same apartment. He too was a John. He too was paying for sex because she's a prostitute, and that's what they do. Sex, money, coke, sex, whatever. So now she gets, this is what a conniver this woman is. So she had the keys to Carmine Santinello's apartment. She had the keys. So she takes the 2 kilos of cocaine from Danny, and because Danny wasn't really a drug dealer. I mean, he had all the coke in his house and the bombs and the automatic weapons, all the tools to his trade, which was murdering drug dealers that didn't pay the cartel. That's what he did. He was the enforcer. That's who he was. That's why he went to prison for 15 years. So anyway, where was I? So he gives her the 2 kilos of cocaine reluctantly because she's only going from Miami to Coconut Grove to her apartment. So he goes, here it is, do it. She takes the dope. She goes to the apartment, opens the door. Carmine Santinello isn't there. She takes the coke, leaves the door unlocked, and goes back to her apartment. God knows what she did with the 2 kilos of cocaine. Then when Carmine Santinello comes home, she knocks on the door. Okay, where's the money? And he goes, where's what money? Where's the money for the cocaine? I left it under your bed or wherever she put it. He goes, well, I ain't got it. What are you talking? Well, then so he goes, yeah, my door was wide open. Did you leave? Well, she goes, I locked the door. Who else did you give the key to? They must have came in and stole the cocaine. That's what must have happened. You're on the hook for it. You owe me $25,000. So now this greedy beast is trying to get him to pay the $25,000, and she gets to keep the cocaine. And by the way, in Miami at that time, $12,500 for a key was super, super cheap. A key of cocaine in New York, if you could take that very same kilo of cocaine in Miami and take it up to New York, you were getting anywhere from $18,000 to $20,000 in 1986 for a kilo of cocaine. So now she's arguing with this guy. She leaves, jumps back into the car, and tells Danny Aguilar, he ripped me off. He ripped me off. Now, at this point, this guy's ready to kill her. He's ready to kill him. He doesn't know what to believe, but he believed her story. So the very next day, June 21st, 1986, it was a Saturday. They go over there, him with another guy by the name of Roger Jones, who I really don't know that much about it. He was one of Danny Aguilar's sidekicks. They go over there with Daniel Staub. They grab him out of his apartment, throw him in the car, and they take him to this address right here, which wasn't where Danny Aguilar lived. It was what we call a stash house, where he put all his weapons, his cocaine, his money. You know, it was a stash house. It was just for that purpose. So they take the kid there, and then he starts to beat the shit out of him. And he's beating him. And I know this for a fact because I was on the phone with Carmine Santinello in 2010 when Danny was with me in my house, and they both spoke. And Danny apologized for what he did to Carmine Santinello. This is in 2010. Told him how sorry he was. And his response was, I totally understand. It wasn't your beatings that I was worried about. It was hers, because she tortured him. She tortured him for the first 2 days. For the first 2 days of his captivity at that house right there, they didn't feed him. He only got water when they allowed him to go to the bathroom. All they kept doing was giving him cocaine and giving him cocaine. He didn't eat anything for 2 days. On the third day, they gave him some scraps from KFC that they ordered, and that was it. And when Carmine Santinella told Danny Aguilar in 2010 what she did to him, how she rammed the gun down his throat, how she beat him, how she put the gun to his crotch and was going to blow his brain. I mean, this. So anyway, let me get back to the. I'm sorry if I got sidetracked there. So now they got him in the house, and I think it was the third day. I think it was Sunday, the 20th. It was Sunday the 22nd of June, 1986, that everybody says, well, Danny wanted to kill him. Danny just wanted to kill him. He was in the house too long. He was worried he was going to get caught. He started thinking about, I got this guy 2 days in my house, and we ain't getting the money. The father's not answering the phone. And then finally, she says, I'll take care of it. She calls the father up, rams the 9mm Beretta down his throat, almost choking him. He couldn't breathe. He was on the floor, face up, and she's got the gun, and she's got the father on the phone and said, listen, if you don't send me the $25,000, I'm gonna kill him. Well, for all you child lovers out there, Carmine Santinella was somebody's child. It was Mr. and Mrs. Santinella. They had to listen to that. Now that's a crime that few criminals have the ability to do. It takes a special kind of beast to do something like that to another human being. And that's Daniel Staub, Beverly Ann Merrill, Angela, whatever other phony name she goes by. Okay, so now the father agrees, but he didn't really agree. As soon as he heard his son screaming, pleading for his life, with blood-curdling screams that he couldn't understand what his son was saying because the gun was pressed all the way down to his damn tonsils. This guy didn't do anything. This guy didn't steal the cocaine. How can he's still living there? It was a crappy little apartment. If he would have stole the 2 kilos of cocaine, he would have just took off. He was innocent. Everything that happened in this crime that put Danny Aguilar, Roger Jones, and even Carmine Santinella, because he really was a drug dealer, put everybody who went to prison except Beverly Ann Merrill, the beast. She ratted everybody out and went off to New Jersey, leaving everybody holding the bags. That's what she did. So they come up with the bright idea to send the money Western Union. The father and the mom called the FBI in Utica, New York. FBI is involved. They go to pick up the money. FBI SWAT team raids the place, takes them out of the car. They were in the car when they were apprehended. FBI blew out the window with some kind of a weapon, blew out the back window, grabbed them all out. Roger Jones was carrying a .45 caliber handgun so that he could control Carmine Santinella, and they all got arrested. Now, let's look at what happened when the FBI enters the location where they held Carmine for now 3 days, and see what they found. Okay, they find 10 kilos of cocaine. Now don't forget, Danny Aguilar wasn't really a drug dealer. He got paid for murdering people that didn't pay their debt to the Medellin drug cartel. So they find $16,000 in cash. Danny said it should have been more, and he believes that she stole it while the 3 days were going on. Well, the FBI stole it. He said there was 30,000. So FBI, so who are you going to believe? The FBI pocketed the other 14 grand, or Daniel Staub took it? I go with Daniel Staub took it. Oh, excuse me, Beverly Ann Merrill. Prostitute, call girl, escort, whatever you want to call her. He thinks, so he was pissed off about that. And I'll tell you, that's what happened later on. They find 7 homemade explosive devices. Now, as I said before, this guy Danny was like over the top back then. I never met him back then. I met him 20 years later in 2010 when I deposed him in my lawsuit. And that's going to be a pretty good vlog in itself right there. How did I manage to get a member of the drug cartel, me, a DEA informant, hook up with this guy? And you know what the reason is? Because he hated her so much, he became allies with me in my lawsuit. That's what happened. So anyway, the explosives. This guy loved to blow people up. I mean, he just didn't like to shoot them. He told me a story where he blew a drug dealer up on his boat. He blew the boat up. And they never even realized that it was a bomb. They thought the gas tank blew up or something. I don't know. But he blew up, and he loved blowing up cars, especially fancy ones. He would blow with a remote control, like shit that you see in the movies. This is who this guy was. Okay, so now everybody gets arrested. Everybody gets arrested. Everybody gets $250,000 bails. Now, for you that don't know the criminal justice system, our bail system in our country, it works like this. They give you a $250,000 bond, cash or bond, which means you take $250,000, put it up, they take it, they give you the inmate. Boom. Or you can go to a bail bondsman, and for 10% of the $250,000, which is $25,000, you pay the bondsman that $25,000. You don't get it back. You pay the bondsman the $25,000. He keeps it, and as long as he's comfortable with you being out on the street, you're making all your court appearances, you're doing everything you're supposed to, he'll continue the bond. But at any time, if he feels you're a flight risk or you did something, he can revoke. He can pull it back and take you. He will personally take you, put handcuffs on you, and take you to jail. So now, how does an escort come up with 25 grand? She just got arrested. Now she's been in jail for a month. How does she get out? Well, I know the answer to that because I was there. She gets arrested June 24th, 1986. She's in jail for a month. And then in September of 1986, and I know that month because I bought my brand new 928 S4. There it is right there. It's the one that's in the book. My black with the BBS wheels and all the, look, Florida plates, customized plates, 928 S4 for all you car guys out there. And so anyway, I meet her. And I think I explained, I wound up having relationships with her. And I wound up telling her who I was. And she gave me 3 drug dealers. I went to the DEA. They went to the United States Attorney's Office. And they said, no, that wasn't good. Now, at this time, September of 1986, I believed what she told me. She said I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, and one of the drug dealers got busted while I was there. That's what she told me. And I really didn't, who cares? I really didn't care. And so the DEA agent, Tom Silvanki, went to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and they said, nope, that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. And so I went back to her and I said, do you know any bigger guys, a name that these guys know, that the DEA know? And she mentioned his name. And I went back to them and I said, what about if she gets you this guy? So right away, boom, their ears perked up. Ooh, they like that one. They like that. So they go back and they start negotiating. They start softening up the U.S. attorney who wants to put this monster in jail. There was never any conversation that I was aware of what she truly did. Tom Sylvanki never told me. I don't even think that was an issue. She was charged with what she was charged with, and if she cooperates with us, can we give her a non-custodial sentence? And they go, okay, maybe, and it was like up in the air, you know, and I told that to her, if you give me this guy, you introduce me, I'll work the guy, which I did. And if we get him, they're going to go to bat for you. That's all they're going to say. And that's what happened. I got the guy. Took me two weeks. We popped him. Got a very large seizure. I think I made, I don't remember what I had, but I made a lot of money on that one. But, okay, so now she gets sentenced. She pleads guilty. She pled guilty to a charge. I forget what the charge was, but it has to do with making terroristic threats over the telephone lines, interstate. That's what she pled guilty to. And I think it was a 15-year sentence. It was a 15 years that she was looking at. Her parents came down, beautiful people. This is the guy that her father and her mother comes down, her adopted mother and father come down. They wrote letters to clergy. They were 100% behind this woman. And I don't believe the rape allegations that she put against them. But that's getting off the track here. So now, let's back up to the bond. So who put up the $25,000? Ooh, I know. She was dating as an escort, as a prostitute, like 10 lawyers. 2 of them were Miami-Dade district attorneys. 2 of them. That's according to her, and I sort of believe it. I really sort of believe that one. So the one lawyer got her a lawyer. Now, in a case like that back in the 80s, minimum $50,000 to defend a case like that. Minimum. They took it on the hook. Now, she agrees to have sex with anyone, work off the sex, and this is what happened. She agreed to do it. The one lawyer went to the bondsman, spent $25,000 on her $250,000 bond, and gets her out. And then they start having sex. And then all his lawyer friends, that lawyer, no, that wasn't the lawyer it was the other lawyer. She had another lawyer that actually arranged it. The lawyer that represented her really didn't have anything to do with it. As she prostituted herself, she would pay him the money, and that went on for about 3 months. I believe it was September. She got sentenced. She gets arrested in June, September or October, somewhere in there. So meanwhile, when I was with her, her pager, her beeper, little beeper, that the escort service would beep her, and then she'd have to call the escort service for the dates information, was going off at least 15 times a day. She was doing 15 dates a day that I saw. Who knows, after I went to sleep, how many times she went. But at least 15 sexual encounters each day by God knows how many men. And so that's how she got out of jail on a $250,000 bond. That's how she paid off her attorneys. And did she use me? Yeah, but I got to lock up a couple of drug dealers, and I made some money, and I got her out. So the next time She says, I was arrested. I want everybody to look at this video again, and that's what she got arrested for. Now, I don't want to go on any further because there's just only so much I can take of the beast. So please, guys, subscribe. Every time you do, you know it sticks it up her. You know what? When she sees those numbers go up, up, up. Thank you so much for tuning in, and God bless you guys.